Hi and welcome to our channel. I am Pragya and I work for testRigor. It is an intelligent generative AI powered codeless test automation tool that lets you write test cases in plain English. Today we will discuss the top 27 QA director interview questions to help you prepare for your next job. As a QA director, you are responsible for overseeing the testing efforts of the organization, ensuring that products are thoroughly tested and meet the needs and expectations of the stakeholders. As such, the QA director must have a strong understanding of testing best practices, be skilled in managing teams, and have a strategic mindset to align testing efforts with the organization's overall goals. Let us get started with the interview questions and answers. Here is the first question. How do you ensure that your team is always up to date with the latest testing trends and technologies? You can give an answer as, I believe in continuous learning and development. I encourage my team to attend conferences, workshops, and training sessions to stay up to date with the latest testing trends and technologies. We also have regular team meetings where we discuss any new developments and their potential impact on our testing processes. Here is the second question. How do you balance the need for speed with the need for quality when testing software? You can give an answer as, I believe that speed and quality are both important when it comes to testing software. To strike a right balance, I encourage my team to focus on risk-based testing, where we prioritize our testing efforts based on the criticality of the features being developed. We also use automation where possible to speed up testing while maintaining a high level of quality. Here is question number 3. How do you manage conflicts and disagreements within your team? You can give an answer as, conflicts and disagreements are a normal part of any team, and I believe that they can be healthy when managed properly. When conflicts arise, I encourage open communication and active listening to ensure that everyone's perspectives are heard. We work together to find a solution that satisfies everyone's needs and goals. Question 4 is related to metrics. What metrics do you use to measure the effectiveness of your testing efforts? You can give an answer as, I believe that metrics are an important tool for measuring the effectiveness of testing efforts. Some of the metrics that we use are test coverage, defect density, and mean time to detect and resolve issues. We also regularly collect feedback from our stakeholders to ensure that we are meeting their needs and expectations. Here is question number 5. How do you ensure that your team is aligned with the goals of the company? You can give an answer as, I believe alignment with company goals is critical for any team's success. To ensure that my team is aligned, I regularly communicate the goals and company's vision, and I work with my team to create a plan that aligns our testing efforts with those goals. We also track our progress towards these goals and adjust our approach as needed. Here is question number 6. How do you stay current with emerging technologies in the QA field? You can provide an answer as, I believe that staying current with emerging technologies is critical for any QA professional. I regularly attend conferences and workshops, read industry publications, and network with other professionals to stay up to date. I also encourage my team to do the same and share their knowledge and insights with the rest of the team. Here is question 7. How do you ensure that your team's testing efforts are cost-effective? Cost effectiveness is important in any organization, and I believe that it is possible to maintain high quality testing efforts while also being cost effective. One of the ways we achieve this is by prioritizing testing efforts based on risk and using automation where possible. We also regularly review our processes and tools to identify areas where we can streamline and optimize our efforts. Here is question number 8. How do you ensure that your team is delivering value to stakeholders? You can give an answer as, I believe that delivering value to stakeholders is one of the most important aspects of QA. To ensure that we are delivering value, we work closely with stakeholders to understand their needs and goals and tailor our testing efforts accordingly. We also regularly collect feedback and use it to improve our processes and deliverables. Let's review question number 9. What is your approach to mentoring members of your team? You can give an answer as, I believe that mentoring and developing team members is critical for their professional growth and the success of the team as a whole. I provide regular feedback and constructive criticism, encourage ongoing learning and development, and provide opportunities for my team members to take on new challenges and responsibilities. Here is question number 10. How do you ensure that your team's testing efforts are accessible and inclusive for users with disabilities? You can give an answer as, I believe that accessibility and inclusion are critical for any software product. To ensure that our testing efforts are accessible and inclusive, we involve users with special needs in our testing processes, use automation tools to test for accessibility, and train our team members on accessible design and development best practices. Here is question number 11. How do you measure the impact of your team's testing efforts on the overall customer experience? You can give an answer as, I believe that the impact of testing efforts on customer experience is an important metric to track. We collect feedback from customer and use it to improve our testing processes and deliverables. We also use metrics like customer satisfaction and retention to measure the impact of our testing efforts. Here is question number 12. How do you ensure that your team's testing efforts are aligned with the security requirements of the product? You can give an answer as, I believe that security is an important consideration for any software product. To ensure that our testing efforts are aligned with security requirements, we use tools and techniques to test for vulnerabilities and work closely with security experts to identify and address potential issues. Let's review question number 13. How do you manage testing efforts for multiple products or projects simultaneously? You can give an answer as, managing testing efforts for multiple products require effective communication, prioritization, and resource management. We prioritize testing efforts based on the criticality of the products or projects and use automation and other tools to streamline testing processes wherever possible. Let's review question number 14. How do you balance the need for testing against the need for innovation and new feature development? You can provide an answer as, balancing the need for testing against the need for innovation requires effective risk management and prioritization. We use risk-based testing to prioritize our testing efforts and work closely with developers to ensure that the testing efforts do not slow down innovation or new feature development. Question number 15 is, how do you ensure that your team's testing efforts are compliant with relevant regulatory standards? You can give an answer as, compliance with regulatory standards is critical for many software products. To ensure that our testing efforts are compliant, we work closely with regulatory experts to understand and implement relevant standards and use tools and techniques to test for compliance. Question number 16 is, how do you manage testing efforts for products with different user interface, platforms, and devices? You can provide an answer as, managing testing efforts for products with different UI, platform, and devices require effective planning, coordination, and resource management. We use automation and other tools to streamline testing processes and ensure that testing efforts are effective across different UI, platform, and devices. Here is question number 17. How do you ensure that your team's testing efforts are aligned with the needs of the development team? You can give an answer as, aligning testing efforts with the needs of the development team requires effective communication and collaboration. We work closely with the development team to understand their needs and goals and then tailor our testing efforts accordingly. We also provide feedback and support to help the development team improve the processes and deliverables. Question number 18 is, how do you measure and report on effectiveness of your team's testing efforts to upper management? You can give an answer as, measuring and reporting on the effectiveness of testing efforts to higher management requires effective metrics and reporting tools. We use metrics like defect density, test coverage, and customer satisfaction to measure the effectiveness of our testing efforts and regularly report to the higher management on our progress and accomplishments. Here is question number 19. How do you prioritize testing efforts for features with tight deadlines or time to market requirements? Here is the answer. Prioritizing testing efforts for features with tight deadlines require effective risk management and prioritization. We use risk-based testing to identify critical features and prioritize testing efforts accordingly. We also work closely with the development team to ensure that testing efforts do not slow down the time to market of the product. Let's review question number 20. How do you balance manual testing with automated testing in your testing efforts? Here is the answer. Balancing manual testing with automated testing requires effective planning and resource management. We use automation testing where possible to streamline testing processes and reduce manual effort. However, we also recognize that manual testing is sometimes necessary to ensure the highest level of quality and user experience. Question number 21 is, how do you manage testing efforts for a product that is continuously evolving or updated? You can give an answer as, managing testing efforts for a product that is continuously evolving requires effective communication and collaboration. We work closely with the development team to understand the product roadmap and prioritize testing efforts accordingly. We also use automation and other tools to streamline testing processes and ensure that testing efforts are effective and efficient. Let's review question number 22. How do you manage testing efforts for a product with a large user base or complex features? Here is the answer. Managing testing efforts for a product with large user base or complex feature requires effective planning, coordination, and resource management. We use risk-based testing to prioritize our testing efforts and focus on critical features. We also use tools and techniques such as exploratory testing to ensure that we are thoroughly testing complex features and scenarios. Question number 23 is, how do you ensure that your team is adhering to best practices and industry standards for testing? Here is the answer. Adhering to best practices and industry standards for testing requires ongoing learning and development. We regularly attend conferences, workshops, and training sessions to stay up to date with the latest best practices and standards. We also use peer reviews and other feedback mechanisms to ensure that we are adhering to these standards in our testing efforts. Question number 24 is, how do you manage testing efforts for a product with multiple integrations or dependencies? You can give an answer as, managing testing efforts for a product with multiple integrations or dependencies requires effective planning and coordination. We work closely with the development team to understand the integrations and dependencies and ensure that testing efforts are thorough and effective. We also use tools and techniques like API testing, integration testing to streamline testing processes. Here is question number 25. How do you ensure that your team is effectively testing for performance and scalability of the product? Here is the answer. Testing for performance and scalability requires effective planning and testing techniques. We use tools for load testing and performance monitoring to identify and address performance issues. We also use techniques like horizontal and vertical scaling to ensure that the product is scalable and can handle increasing levels of traffic and usage. Question number 26 is, how do you ensure that your team's testing efforts are effectively catching issues before they reach production? You can give an answer as, catching issues before they reach production requires effective testing techniques and tools. We use techniques like continuous integration and continuous testing to identify and address issues early in the development process. We also use monitoring and logging tools to identify and troubleshoot issues that may arise in production. Here is question number 27, which is the last question. How do you ensure that your team is effectively testing for usability and user experience of the product? You can give an answer as, testing for usability and user experience requires effective planning and user testing techniques. We involve users in our testing efforts and use tools like usability testing and user feedback to ensure that the product is easy to use and provides a positive user experience. We also work closely with the design team to ensure that the product is designed with the above points in mind. We are done with all the questions. If you like the content, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more informative content on artificial intelligence and software testing. Your support helps us build more content to help you further. If you have any questions, please let us know in the comments section. We will try to provide the best possible answer and learn with you together. And here is a good news. testRigor offers the AI-driven test automation engineer certification for free. Go get your certificate today. Thanks for watching.